Good morning, Spiritual Life Center. Welcome to the SLC Sunday Experience. We're so glad that you're here with us today and online as well. We want you to know your soul is welcome here. We're going to sing about it.
That's right. You're in the right place at the right time, just where you are meant to be. Let's sing about it.
I'm in the right place at the right time. I am just where I am meant to be. I'm in the right place at the right time. I am just where I am meant to be.
In the right place.
I'm in the right place at the right time. I am just where I am meant to be. I'm in the right place at the right time. I am just where I am meant to be.
Oh, my soul.
Oh, my soul is welcome here. Oh, my soul is welcome here. I am getting a message loud and clear. My soul is welcome here.
My soul is well. My soul is. My soul is well. My soul is. My soul is well. My soul is.
I'm in the right place at the right time. I am just where I am meant to be. I'm in the right place at the right time. I am just where I am meant to be.
Oh, my soul.
Oh, my soul is welcome here. Oh, my soul is welcome here. I am getting a message loud and clear. My soul is welcome here.
Oh, my soul is welcome.
Oh, my soul is welcome here. Oh, my soul is welcome here. I am getting a message loud and clear. My soul is welcome here.
I'm getting a message.
I am getting the message loud and clear. My soul is welcome here. My soul is welcome here.
Put your hands together.
My soul is welcome here. 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 My soul is welcome. I am getting the message loud and clear. My soul is
Good morning and welcome to the Spiritual Life Center Experience. And good morning, Rev. How are you today?
I am just ducky, Rev.
All righty. All right, haven't heard that in a while, but we'll take it.
And we greet you this morning in the name of all that is good, all that is holy, and all that is sacred. And in the warm, living energy of this community, Spiritual Life Center. You know, Spiritual Life Center honors all people worshiping in temples, mosques, churches, stone circles, and of course the beautiful, beautiful temples of nature, because there is no space that God does not grace. And if you're watching, this is the first time joining us, whether you are online or on site, we especially want to welcome you because we know that you are not here by accident. Every single one of us is here by divine appointment. And we're so thrilled to be able to be together, and we do welcome you. And of course, we are also very thrilled when you silence your electronic devices and wear your masks properly.
As we settle into the presence now and commune with this something that's beyond words, but is more real to us than the chairs we're sitting in or the floor we're standing on. It is behind everything that we see and contains everything that is good and perfect and every great idea that comes from this force that is beyond human understanding, but can be expressed through and as us in our thoughts, our words, and our actions. We come together to touch and agree that we're here for a divine and mighty purpose. And although it may look different for each individual, we know that in some way, shape, or form, it's here to carry out our intention to be here for the presence, to be here for God, to be here for the force, whatever we call it. And as we do, we anchor on earth a little bit more of heaven, which is all good, that is waiting for us to manifest in our life and in our world. So we do our part, knowing that this presence will provide the increase along the way. We just want our motives to be right, our intentions to be clear, and then we are supported along the way. And for this and so much more as we go forth, we say, thank you, divine presence. Amen. Well, we carry out our purpose and mission here at Spiritual Life Center through the following mission. I invite you to, did I say something? Oh, I hear you all talking up here. So I don't know what's going on. That's all right. Let us say our mission statement together. To transform lives as we love, serve, and remember. And we do so through the 5 basic principles, which are universal. They don't belong to us, but they represent what we believe. So if someone asks, what does unity believe? You can say the following. God is absolute good and everywhere present. People are inherently good. Thoughts create our experiences. Prayer and meditation are how we connect with God. We must take action.
And a really great action you can take right after service is go over to the chapel for the final day of the YOU jewelry sale. This is your last chance until Christmas. There's still lots over there, so go check it out and find your little specific treasure for October.
And as I mentioned earlier, you had been taking on the chaplain's program once Sherry had moved on to greater things.
Well, we were saying I was the interim.
Yes, the
Thank
interim.
God.
The interim, but I know you're ready to release it to a higher good, although you're going to get some support. And we do have that individual, Monica Hart. She's going to come forward. Well, many of you already know Monica. She was actually a co-founder of Spiritual Life Center before moving on to Unity of Davis, and she has been a prayer and clinical chaplain for over 20 years. And she's done many, one-on-one coaching, group coaching, and leadership and life coaching. And she served, like I said, as the chaplain coordinator at Davis. And she's been inspired by Phil and Dorothy Pearson, for those who know of them. In the Unity movement, they're like titans, of spirit, and had been really beacons of light for our movement for many, many years. And she came under their tutelage and then came on and worked with Reverend Michael and Faith, and was, on the board, taught classes, was a chaplain, and she's committing her life to, mindful and spiritual awakening, not only through her daily prayers and meditations and journaling, but also as a marathon runner, which is an intense way to connect with spirit. She's grateful for her family, precious to her friends and colleagues, and especially her beloved community, Spiritual Life Center. So we're going to give her a special Unity welcome. If you don't mind joining with us, we'll say that our Spirit Unity prayer. Just hold that blessing, that energy, and just repeat together. Monica, we love you. We bless you. We appreciate you. We behold God's love as you. And she's around, so to pray with you, and the chaplains as well. So thank you so much for your consciousness and what you bring to our community.
We are coming up on gala time. The Light the World Gala will be November 19th. A little bit of difference there. And it will be from 7 to 9 p.m., but it will be on site and online, so you can participate in any way that you feel comfortable. Right now, because it takes a village to put on this wonderful gala, we are looking for volunteers, and some of those volunteers would be ushers, greeters, servers, and most important, bartenders. So there's more information online about this, and you could, I believe, sign up online. You can also go out to the hub and talk to them out there and find out where you might be able to serve best. We look forward to having an amazing gala this year.
Yes, and also, we have our monthly Board of Trustees update. I'm going to ask Jim McLaughlin, who is our board president, and she's going to share what she wants to share.
Share what I want to share?
Yes.
Well, that could go on for a while. Hi, everyone. I'm Kim McLaughlin, and I am the board president. Now, you might think that's kind of strange because 2 months ago, Rick Mercer was up here talking about being the board president. And what happened was he had some personal issues show up, and so he felt he needed to step down. So I really want you all to hold Rick in prayer because he has been such a great force on our board, and I miss him a lot, and please just hold him in your prayers. And I said, yes, I will step up and be president, so I am here to serve. And I want to, thank you. So what I want to do in our update is just to let you know some of the things. You know, the board is very, very active around back behind the scenes, lots of things that you don't know about that we're doing to keep things moving forward. One is we invited Carolyn Cochran, or she offered to lead a staff retreat, a staff retreat and then a separate board retreat. So she's done 2 retreats already. Now she is willing to work with both teams to bring us together to talk about what our goals are and what we want to do joining together. And just to give you some of the ideas of what the board came up with is we identified our 3 big goals would be the future of unity, makes a lot of sense, right? The second is marketing and outreach, makes a heck of a lot of sense. The last one might not make sense, but it's really, really important, and that is board development. So we're really looking to develop the board, develop the next people that are going to be in line coming on the board. So that's an exciting thing that I am all in for, to get this board being as strong as possible and keep unity as strong as possible. The last thing I have for you is that we have a new member to our board, and that is Carol Mercer. Can I hear an amen for Carol Mercer? I am so excited that she agreed to be on the board. She was here earlier. I don't see her right now, but please give her your blessings and your prayers because she's going to help us with our finances, and I'm so excited that she said yes. Lastly, I don't think any of you know, but this is the 9th anniversary of Reverend James. So, can you believe it? I said it wrong the last time, October the 5th, so just a few days ago, his 9th anniversary. And I think you all join with me in how much we appreciate Reverend James and what he's done for us, right? Right. I know from working with him on the board how it's such a blessing to have him, and his calm presence, his knowledge of unity is extraordinary. And what I said earlier to the group earlier is that the thing that I've noticed is that when people come to SLC, they'll say, it feels like home, I love the band. What they also say to a person is they will say, that message was extraordinary. Reverend James hit it out of the park. And every time they will talk about what he said. So I really appreciate you, and I really appreciate you being here.
Thank you.
Let's give Reverend James a warm scene. Reverend James, we love you, we bless you, we appreciate you, we behold God's love as you.
Thank you. They surprised me the first service, totally caught me off guard. I was ready for them this time. Thank you so much.
And I am going to try to say this again, is that it's such an honor to serve with you at this wonderful community, James. I really appreciate the opportunity. Okay, so remember, there's lots of things going on at SLC, and you can find out what the happenings are by going out to the courtyard. Okay, let's all take a breath. Out to the courtyard and look at the kiosk and see what's going on there, and then you can hop on over to the hub and sign up for like everything.
And I'd like to acknowledge any of the Board of Trustee members who are here, including Kim, and I think we may have, I see Claudia in the back, and Deborah, and Reverend Penny, and also our chaplains that are here for the second service that are wearing the white stoles. We thank this entire group that bring their consciousness. Yes. And the chaplains, of course, are here to hold a prayer consciousness for you. They do that, I'm sure, throughout the week, but especially on Sundays, if you have a special prayer that you'd like to have them address, where you have something you want to celebrate or a challenge you're going through, they're here to pray with you right after the service. They're usually in the courtyard, so we thank you for your prayer consciousness. And the board members that are here, as Kim was pointing out, do a lot behind the scenes. They bring their talent, their consciousness, their skill set, and their time to keep us moving forward. And so we appreciate all that they do. You just have no idea how much they put in their heart and soul into moving us forward. And they're here to also to answer any questions that you happen to have regarding board business. So thank you, board. Thank you, board. Thank you, trustees, and as well as our chaplains for your consciousness and work.
And we love to welcome our newcomers. So in a moment, we will ask you, those of you here on site, to raise your hand. But there's many, many ways to become connected at SLC, and you can get more information about small groups, events, and classes by filling out our welcome card. You can fill that card out online, or if you are on site, you can fill out the card we give you after you've raised your hand, take it out to the welcome table, and we will offer you a warm welcome and a very special gift.
And if you are here for the very first time today, we just invite you to raise your hand. We love to give you, we got several new folks here this morning. We appreciate your presence. And we're going to give you a little pamphlet that tells you a little bit about Spiritual Life Center and the Unity Movement. There's a purple ribbon if you'd like to wear that on the side of where your heart is to get a special Spiritual Life Center greeting. And you can fill out the card if you want to stay informed of the activities and what's going on at Spiritual Life Center. We will keep you up to date as to what's happening. We thank you for your presence. We thank you for the unique expression of love that you are, and we support and affirm you on your spiritual path in any way that we can. So we thank you, we appreciate you, and we behold the mighty magnificence within you. And with that, we have an opportunity to have folks greet one another in a way that's comfortable for you, and you get to say, your eyes are sparkling with marvelousness.
Invite you to stay standing and join us in singing for the second week, our Faith in Action tune, written by our very own Paula Mandela, Look to the Beauty.
Everybody has a story, unique in all their own points of perception, feature characters and roles. When we start to name it and we learn to play it, tumbling from the heavens, feeling all alone. These voices live inside my head, the storyteller's lies, dreams of illusions flowing back to ancient times. Picasso-like distortions, bending what is true. Starry nights and moonlit skies are calling out to you. Look to the beauty all around and inside you. Know the truth of who you are. Look to the beauty all around and inside you. Know the truth of who you are. Every being, all creation, we are apart. Reflections of the one light. Love from source, straight to your heart. Look to the beauty. Look to the beauty. It's all around and inside you. Look to the beauty. Look to the beauty. All around and inside each and every one of you. Look to the beauty. Starry, starry nights paint your palette blue and gray. Look to the beauty. Yeah. Look to the beauty. Starry nights, moonlit skies. Look to the beauty. Reflections of the light. It's all around. Look to the beauty. Starry nights and moonlit skies. Reflections of the one light. Look to the beauty. Look to the beauty.
Please be seated.
Speaking of looking to the beauty, each week at our Faith in Action series, we have a pictorial representation of our theme for the week. And this week's artist is Reverend Penelope Clement, and she wrote this piece entitled, she drew this piece, I guess you could say, or painted this piece, and it's called Captain Marvelous. And here's what she writes. The new day is arising. When we finally see through the stories that limit us, we discover that we are the amazing creations of Source. Then we can express ourselves as Captain Marvelous. He holds the wand of fire, the paintbrush of the artist. This wand gives him the courage, strength, and determination to create the story of his life. Creative Bird challenges us to step forward as the true artists we are and create our greatest work of art, ourselves. Are you willing to use your talents and abilities to create the life you love? So thank you, Reverend Penelope, for leaving that question, a wonderful piece of art. Appreciate you.
I was so wrapped up in the artwork. It's my turn. Yeah. Well, so I invite us now to speak out loud together our vision statement. Spiritual Life Center is a loving, vibrant family that welcomes home all people and accepts everyone, no exceptions, weaving ancient spiritual traditions with emerging wisdom. We cultivate a spiritual deepening with the divine, each other, and our planet. And now I invite you to sing with us this beautiful chant in preparation for meditation.
And I invite you to take a nice deep breath and settle into your chair and let these words be your words. And let these words be a prayer. Please join us in singing.
Spirit in me, live out in the open, shine from my life like the sun. Give of your goodness, conquer the darkness, Spirit of light and love. Spirit, Spirit, Spirit in me. Spirit in me. Live out in the open, shine from my life like the sun. Give of your goodness, conquer the darkness, Spirit of light and love. Spirit, Spirit in me. Give through me, speak through me, move through me, love through me. Oh Spirit, oh Spirit, Spirit in me. Oh Spirit, oh Spirit, Spirit, Spirit in me.
Spirit in me, move in me, breathe in me, love in me. As we move into this time of inner contemplation, take a deep breath and relax into your chair. And as you breathe naturally, drop your shoulders and allow the outside world to fade into the background. Listen to this quiet music and watch as it becomes strands of light. They dance and swirl around you. And now watch as the light enters your heart, allowing your whole being to expand and allow your consciousness to float into a light daydream. You are standing in a safe place and you just look around. There's not much to see here except a clear blue sky dotted with white fluffy clouds. One of the clouds gently descends and settles on the ground next to you, and it bounces once or twice as if an invitation. And so you climb aboard the cloud and you lie down so that you can look over the edge in comfort. The cloud silently lifts off and ascends into a beautiful blue sky, and the air is clear and refreshing. From here, it seems that you can see the entire world. You pass over lush rainforest, clear lakes, beautiful fields of grain. Everything seems so beautiful. Yet, as you continue to fly, cities and towns appear below you. Here, things are in disrepair. Sometimes they are very messy. You can see it all, and part of you wants to turn away from what you perceive as in harmony. You want to change everything, make it perfect again. But you realize you have a unique vantage point. And as you watch the activity below, you begin to see that everything is working together to make a whole. It doesn't make sense to your logical mind, but intuitively you know that contrary to appearances, nothing is broken. All is as it should be. And still you wonder how you can live a happy life in the midst of all this perceived chaos. How can you believe in this life? And so you ask the cloud to bring you back. As you step to the ground, you look around, and what you see is chaos and confusion. But then a little girl with a balloon dances past you. A young boy so deep in his ice cream cone that he bumps into you. And as you wipe the ice cream from your sleeve, he looks into your eyes with such innocence and joy that you laugh just for the sake of laughing. And now, all around you, you see signs of life, signs of joy, signs of renewal. Within you, a new awareness arises. The stories of this world are just that, stories. And you see that you have a choice to believe the stories of the world or to be true to your inner divine self. And this beautiful prayer comes into your mind. God alone is enough. Let nothing upset you. Let nothing frighten you. All things pass away. God never changes. Patience obtains all things. Whoever has God lacks nothing. God alone is enough. And you take this prayer into your heart in the silence. Nothing is broken. All is as it should be in this moment. And as you begin to return to your body and to your awareness, receive this blessing. Oh, my beloved, there is no separation from God. You are a divine soul in the holy stream of life. It is time to wake up to your true being. It is time to wake up and live from the inside out. It is time to trust your inner self. It is time to trust in your own heart. Time to trust what you know rather than what you hear. Time to trust what you know rather than what you see. There is a truth that only comes from within, and it is your truth. Trust it always.
I used to think this world was just years and miles, I've finally come to realize I can simply change my mind to rearrange it. And what I believe, what I believe, what I believe is true for me. And what I believe, what I believe, what I believe is true may not be true for you. I've learned what seems to be is not reality. 'Cause whatever we desire, we will see it. But we can get past this reflection to the mirror of the heart, where our vision of this world is blessed by spirit. And what I believe, what I believe, what I believe is true for me. And what I believe, what I believe, what I believe is true may not be true for you. Illusion wears me down after a while. Delusion will let me drown in denial. So if everything we see is only a dream, I must wake myself from this hallucination. 'Cause when we come awake, we understand only love remains. Then we bring this love to every situation. And what I believe, what I believe, what I believe is there is only love for me. And what I believe, what I believe, what I believe is true, is there's only love for you. And what I believe, what I believe, what I believe is true, is there's only love for me and you. Love for me and you.
Thank you, Ree and company and Paula. What I believe. I had mentioned earlier there was a gentleman that came along a couple thousand years ago. He said that it is done unto you as you believe. I believe. Well, welcome to our second week of our Faith in Action series, based upon Don Miguel Ruiz's book, The Voice of Knowledge. And briefly, we talked about the idea that there's a voice of knowledge that really comes from the human place, that is changeable, that sometimes goes up and down, and here today, gone tomorrow, as opposed to the voice of truth, which is those things that never change. They're the same yesterday, today, and tomorrow. And we want to put our belief in the voice of truth, the voice of who and what we really are. A number of years ago, I remember calling a friend who had a greeting on his voicemail, in case you didn't get him on the phone. And he said, at the sound of the beep, please tell me who you are and what you want. But he didn't leave it there. He said, now, you may think these are very simple questions, but most people go through their entire life and they never satisfactorily answer either one of them. These are important questions. Questions to ask ourselves every single day. Because who we are is obviously more than our name or our background or place of birth or what we do. Sometimes we're bombarded by messages and advertising that seek to tell us what we need in order to be happy or to be complete. And if we accept those stories for ourselves, consciously or sometimes unconsciously, we find ourselves being snagged into believing that we're being sold, that whatever we're being sold is what we really want or what we need in order to be fulfilled in life. Now, we may find ourselves filled full of something, all right? Usually the empty calories of life, if we accept that as our story. You know, Don Miguel points out that truth is we often have no idea what we really are. But we do know who we are not. And he says we've been practicing who we are not for so long, we start believing that image because it becomes our story. Stories we have that create sometimes unhappiness in our life, makes it hard for us to change our habits that we've had because after all, this is who I am. There's nothing you can do about it. Stories that challenge us in our ability to relate to other people, sometimes stories that lead to examples of frustration, anger, and even disappointment in life because of the stories we've accepted. And as I noted a lot of times we're not even conscious of these stories, but we're living from these stories every day, all day long. But of course, it doesn't mean that those stories are not true or they're false. They're not necessarily the entire truth. They're just one perspective. It's usually just a projection based upon a reality that is only true for us or whoever has that particular story. You know, this week when we talk about the artist's point of view, you know, Don Miguel Ruiz uses an analogy of a great painter, Picasso, who paints a portrait of a person, and the person says, well, that's not me. That's not how he is being perceived or he sees himself, but that's the way that it was perceived by the painter, by Picasso. We may not see that person the same way, but that's the way he sees him or he saw him. And what Picasso does with his colors, with his paints, we do with our stories. You know, different people can look at the exact same situation and think, you know, wow, they're not even in the same universe. It's almost like they're on two different planets. You know, I guess that's why that guy got that title of that book, Men Are From Mars and Women Are From Venus, sort of thing. You know, seeing the same thing, but two different perspectives. You know, you might have a story, which maybe you're a supervisor, somebody's your boss or something, and, you know, that person is very supportive and praises you a lot and says that, you know, you're doing a good job. You interpret that meaning you're doing a good job. You like your work environment. And this is the story that we make up, and that makes us happy. Another person could be in the exact same environment. They may look at the same experience, and they tell a story about how the work area is messy, about all the other people around them. They looked in my office. The people are always interrupting him. And, the person may be tired, and the clients that they work with are rude, and they smell bad, and all that kind of stuff. Or, you might be upset with a partner or a mate, and because he or she, said something, out of pocket, so to speak. Or they didn't clean up their mess for the last few days. And another person could be in the exact same environment, but they tell a different story. And the story is about their partner, how that person's been working hard all day, and they've gone out of their way to maybe fix a nice meal for you, and they're tired, they just need a little comforting. Same experience, Same set of facts, but different perspectives. So they have different stories about whatever is going on. Now, telling ourselves stories is, of course, something very natural. We all do it. We do it all the time. And there's nothing wrong with that. But if we're not aware of the stories we tell ourselves, we can't understand how they are shaping our happiness. We can't determine how they're shaping our relationships, affecting our moods, and more. You know, as I said, Don Miguel goes on to note that all the drama that we suffer in our personal life, and even on the planet, I would add, is a result of believing in lies and false or distorted stories about ourselves. That's probably the most important story that we need to know. What is the story telling about ourselves? You know, I mentioned that there was a friend I spoke with recently, and you know, he was constantly beating himself up for the so-called mistakes he thought he had made in his life. And I'm thinking as he's saying these things that, you know, you might want to recognize that you're committing some sort of mental malpractice here, but I just became quiet. Because he would have fantasies of all the bad things he had done, or the things that he did not do. And he said he was afraid to face the presence of God because he was thinking that he was going to get some sort of retribution from this presence. And, you know, I was saying, you know, don't do that. But he said, you know, before God beats me up, I'm going to beat myself up. So in hopes that if God sees me beating myself up, he'll have mercy on me, or God will have mercy on me, or the force will have mercy on me. And I'm thinking to myself, there's no God like that. But he kept on talking. And he started saying, you know, I'm a bad person. You know, I did this. I messed up. I made a mistake. Oh, my God, I'm a failure. Oh, my God, I'm some sort of born sinner. And I said, you might consider changing your story. I'm saying this in my mind at the moment, but I'm a good listener. To a story that's more empowering, I'm thinking. And the more empowering story is that we're made in the image and likeness of the divine. You know, in fact, we are divine centers in the mind of God, but somewhere along the line, we disidentified by making up a story. At least someone in history did. And it's a perception not related to the ultimate truth of who we are. As I like to remind myself, there was probably some hard of hearing theologian that misheard the word center for sinner. And, you know, he was saying that, you know, it's supposed to be, we're centers in the mind of God, but he heard sinners in the eyes of God. So they made up a whole story all around that. Many people have been living from that false belief, leading to all kinds of problems based upon a story that misidentifies who and what we really are. I always believe that if we really knew, if everybody on the planet just for a moment began to recognize the truth of who we are, our true identity as spiritual beings, we transform the world in a moment. But imagine someone is saying over and over again, there's something wrong with you, right from the beginning, and eventually people believe that story. They begin to live out that story. As I like to say, a lie believed acts as truth until it's neutralized by the truth. But here's the thing. We have the ability to rectify this by telling a new story that sees ourselves rightly. We have the ability through describing our life to transform our life, to rectify our life, and see it from a higher point of view. That's the reason stories about ourselves are so important to know. They have a lot of power because we can never go beyond the story that describes who we are. And I believe until our stories are in league with God's idea of us, we can pray all day long. We can affirm all day long. We can say positive things all day long. But how we describe ourselves ultimately plays out as our experience and our circumstances. But we can make stories that describe ourselves either as original sinners and live that out, or live from stories that describe ourselves as original blessings, miracles, experiencing the presence of God, and believe and trust in that. A lot of it is about identity. It's all about identity. You know, I was thinking about this story because it's about a college student, and my son is in his last year in college, and I was affirming that, yes, I hope it is. He may have to go another semester, but it's all good. He's a good kid. But there was a young man in his last term of college, and he had one final class to complete in order for him to graduate. And he decided he was going to take a class that was about nature and about birds, and he figured it would be an easy class. He figured he'd learn to get through it, and he would finally be done with school, done with college. I kind of remember that in my last year. Let me find a couple easy courses so I can just get on out of here. But he was an avid student. He was studying. He studied really hard. He went to all the lectures. He took copious notes. He did the whole 9 yards. And it came down to the final exam, and he was ready. He came into the class. He was ready. And he looked at the final exam, and he saw that it was only consisted of 6 questions. And there was, on the sheet of paper, there was a picture of all these little bird legs all in one column, and then the names of the birds in the second column. And the instructions of the exam was that he had to match the bird legs with the names of the birds. Needless to say, this student was furious. He had done all of this studying and took on all these notes and digitally reviewed every single thing in the textbooks. And so, he had to take a breath. He gets centered. He went up to the professor and says, Professor, your class has been great up until this moment. But I can't handle this kind of test. After all, I've studied. I spent a whole lot of time preparing to get ready. This is silly. This is a stupid test. And the professor said to him, well, in his professorial voice, well, that's the test. And if you don't take the test, you're going to fail my class, and you're probably not going to graduate. And the student became irate, even more so after trying to reason with him. And then after a while, he started totally disrespecting the professor. And he said, you professor, and he was saying a few choice words I can't say now. You don't know what you're doing. This is ridiculous. I refuse to take this dumb test. So the professor said, well, you ought to either take the test or you're not going to pass my class. You're going to fail. And then the guy got even more irate and said, I'm not taking this test, and said a few choice words about them. Said, this is stupid. And after a while, the professor got a little upset, and he had said to him, what is your name? You're not going to pass my class even if you take the test. Identify yourself. And the student pulled up his pants leg. He pointed to his leg, and he said to him, you identify me. You identify me. The point of the matter is, it's all about identity. We must describe ourselves as original blessings from on high. As Don Miguel points out, we are born perfect. Not that we do things perfect all the time on the human plane, but the essence of us is always perfect. We grow up perfect. We will shuffle off the mortal coil. We'll still be perfect because perfection exists. But the big lie is that we're not perfect. There's not a part of us that is perfect. But as that scripture says, be ye perfect as your Father in heaven is perfect. That Mother, Father, God, there's a part of us that is always perfect. And oftentimes we start to search for an image of perfection that we can never become, something outside of ourselves. But we cannot reach perfection in that way because it is a false image. It comes from that voice of knowledge that we sometimes take in. It's a lie because we invest in that lie. We build a whole structure of lies to support it. We want to become aware of our stories because throughout the day, we may be telling ourselves stories that's going on outside of us about how people are wrong, how bad they are. Or we start to notice where we're telling ourselves about every single thing that takes place and be aware of what those stories are. Because if we're telling those stories in a way that's not beneficial to us, they are affecting our well-being, our happiness, and our joy. But if a story is making us happy, and we're aware of that, well, then great. We carry on. If we're not aware of it, hey, it's still great if it's making us happy. But what happens if the story starts to make us unhappy? Makes us unhappy with our life and our way of being in the world. Then if we're not aware, we'll have difficulties. We'll have challenges. We'll feel out of sorts because if we're not in tune with who and what we are, and we'll start to become aware of those stories, good and bad. We want to notice them throughout the day. Notice when we're getting stuck in a particular story. I don't know about you. Sometimes I get a story that comes up in my mind, and it's spinning around. It's getting stronger and stronger and stronger in my head. You know, I shouldn't have done this. What's going on? And it leads to my own internal frustration and unhappiness as a person. But we can snap out of it. Understand, when we get hooked on a story, sometimes it's hard to break away from it. Because in our mind, it's true. I mean, after all, I know it's true. How do I know it's true? I just know it's true. But becoming aware of being hooked on a particular story is the first step to breaking away from the story to something that's more empowering for us. You know, the fact of the matter is our stories about ourselves. We want to have stories that reflect the truth of who and what we are, our divine self. We don't want to have stories to be that, you know, our life is hard and then it's over, and in between we have nothing but problems and difficulties along the way. No. We want stories that says we're made in the image of divineness of this presence. As I like to say, we have diviner genes within us. We're made out of this God presence, and we're seeking to know that presence that only knows divine and perfect spiritual solution to whatever seems to be a problem in our life. Understand, there's a big difference. You know, we do not want to tell God about our big problems. We want to tell our problems about our big God. I like that story. So stories are telling us to get back into center. Get back to the alignment with the force or the presence of God. Get back to your true nature. Get back to love. Get back to the peace that we truly are. And when we're in that space, we notice there is nothing to fight there. There is nothing to prove there. There's nothing to get rid of there. We are doing what God, the force, the presence, wants us to do, and that is this. People ask, what does God want? God wants to be known and revealed. That's it. We're here to know God and manifest God. We're here to know God and manifest God. And when we continue to acknowledge and know that, which we can't really make happen, we just know it's, when it's experienced, we know we got it. We've made that connection. You know, as Don Miguel Reed says, you know, it's something you can experience. You can't force it on anybody, but you can experience it. So we're coming to understand that God and God qualities in our life, that's what we want to know. And when we do, we can say, behold, I make all things new right now. So understand that the verdict is in. You're not guilty. The verdict is in. You're not lost. That's a story. The verdict is in is that you're not a victim. You know, some people say, look what they did to me. They didn't do anything to you. They did something that to me is the story. You know, the prognosis is that you're whole and perfect and complete. The report card is in. You are not a failure. You are the image and likeness of the presence and the power and the love of God. We want to celebrate that in and as our life and rejoice in that, and then we are free. This is what we are. And I'll say this. That's our story, and we sticking to it. So it is. So we let it be. Well, each week we have an affirmation that we ask you to just to take in, and it's on our website. It's in your booklet online that you can download if you're in a study group. But we want to affirm this together, so I invite you to join in with me. I open to who I am, artist of my own life. The images I create are mine alone. I am a holy work of art. Take that with you throughout the week. You know that's the truth. You know, yes. You're a holy work of art. Next week, we're going to talk about the illusion of perfection. That's by this guy up there, James Trapp. And meditation by Reverend Deborah. And, of course, we got music by Ann Roach and the Slice Girls and Slow Eye Connection. So, of course, the color is yellow. We're doing the rainbow, red, orange, yellow, green, blue, indigo, violet. The next thing is we have an opportunity now to support Spiritual Life Center. And if you're online and are watching this at any time or day or night, you can support this community and help spread this consciousness by texting SLC Love to 44321. That's SLC Love to 44321. Or if you want to give in other ways, including by mail, go to slcworld.org, click the Donate tab, and you'll get the instructions on how to give in other ways. And if you are online, no matter how you're watching, if you're on Facebook, YouTube, like, comment, subscribe, whatever it requires you to do to help spread the word to even more and more people. And for those who are here today, we just invite you to take your gift and your love offering and symbolically raise it to the heavens, which is ever-expanding good, to get in the flow of this circulating energy that Spirit is. And with that, let us affirm our offertory blessing. Divine love, as me, blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I have, and all that I circulate. Thank you, God.
Clouds following me around. My healthy attitude is nowhere to be found. My circumstances really are a mess. Could it be that what I think is what I manifest? I'm tired of playing silly little games. I know the stinking thinking's driving me insane. I'm taking back my mind, taking back my thoughts. I choose to know the truth. I leave my doubts behind. I create my life each and every day. Whatever thought I think, the law of mind obeys. So I am sure to choose the higher way. I am not bound. I know that I am free. Negativity no longer has a hold on me. I'm keeping in front of me the joy of who I am. I am one with Spirit. My thoughts I can't command. I'm taking back my mind, taking back my thoughts. I choose to know the truth. I leave my doubts behind. I create my life each and every day. Whatever thought I think, the law of mind obeys. So I am sure to choose the higher It is done unto me as I believe. I'm taking back my mind, taking back my thoughts. I choose to know the truth. I leave my doubts behind. I create my life each and every day. Whatever thought I think, the law of mind obeys. So I am sure to choose the higher way. The higher way. The higher way. I'm taking back my mind.
Thank you so much. Yes. taking back my mind. Yes, we want to do. Well, at this moment, let's just take a moment and pray for those who have left their prayers in the prayer box. And we know that we all have challenges in our life from time to time. And to pray is to not to beg or beseech something outside of us to give us anything, but to come to the recognition that the solution already exists in the mind and the heart of pure spirit. And we want to raise our awareness and our consciousness to be one with this presence, knowing that it only knows about solutions and resolution of whatever seeming challenge that we have. So we see it already done, and we send that divine energy of completion to those who have had their prayers out and put them in the prayer box, knowing that this energy will be continued as it go on to Silent Unity for an additional 30 days of prayer and raising of consciousness. And no matter what the answer is, we know there is a divine plan behind it. So we bless them and us ourselves as we go forth multiplying the all good. We bless those who have given their gifts, their offerings, knowing they're going to bless the givers and the receivers in so many ways, in ways that maybe we do not understand or will not see immediately, but somewhere down the line, we know that whatever we give out comes back to us. So we're blessed with the opportunity to be in this flow of circulation and know that whatever we give, Spirit gives more. And we gladly accept it in our life and in our world. And so it is, and so we let it be. Amen. And with that, let us join in as we affirm our prayer for protection. The light of God surrounds us. I am the light of God. The love of God enfolds us. I am the love of God. The power of God protects us. I am the power of God. The presence of God watches over us. I am the presence of God. Wherever we are, God is, I am, and all is well. Let us now sing our peace song.